Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. I figure since I was still up here on this Monday night after watching the Monday night football game, I would come on here live and talk some NFL from over the weekend. And I want to talk about a decision Mark Stoops made in the Georgia and Kentucky game Saturday, and was it a good decision or a bad decision? But first, let's talk some independent wrestling. Saturday, it does not rain, hopefully. I will be at Spencer Park in Commerce, Georgia for Nerd U Championship Wrestling. This show is called Lord of the Ring. It's part of the Commerce Fall Festival. So it'll be outside, so hopefully we will not have any rain. Otherwise, they may postpone it. But that is at 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And then Saturday night, I'll be back at 244 Livestock Road, East Denali, Georgia, for a SWA benefit show for a man named Daryl Kaiser, who had an accident and is now paralyzed from the neck down. So I'll have one, maybe two shows Saturday. One for sure Saturday night. The other one is depending on whether or not it rains Saturday. If you're watching live, feel free to comment as we go, and I'll be sure to read your comment. Make sure you like the video, give the video a thumbs up, and share the video on all social media platforms. As far as the NFL goes, back on Thursday night, the Bills beat the Dolphins 31-10, and I'm sure by now everybody's heard about Tua suffering that concussion. It's his seventh, I believe. Most people are trying to encourage him to retire from football. I know he's still really young and has a chance for a bright career, but after a while, you're looking at severe long-term damage from all those concussions. So we'll wait and see what comes of that. They announced earlier today that Tua will not go on injured reserve, but backup Skylar Thompson will get the start this weekend for the Dolphins. The Vikings defeat the 49ers 23-17. The Vikings are now 2-0 with Sam Darnold, and he's looked really good. He's not putting up 400-yard passing games, but he's making the right reads, the right decisions, not having turnovers. And so far through 2 weeks, Sam Darnold's been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, which is a surprise to everybody. The Seahawks beat the Patriots 23-20. The Commanders beat the Giants 21-18, and it's a weird 21 for the Commanders. They had 7 field goals. We do have a show Saturday in East Denali, straight up wrestling show, but it's not a regular SWA show. Come on out if you would like to. Tower will be there. So will Alex Keitel, Brent Hudson, Cash, Big Bad Brando, Jimmy Lee, Jackknife. It's most of the normal SWA wrestlers, but it's not a regular SWA show. It's a benefit show for a guy that Jackie Owens, the owner of SWA, knows, named Daryl Kaiser. He had an accident, either fell off a ladder or a scissor lift, and is now paralyzed from the neck down. So this show, all the proceeds go to him and his family's medical bills now with him having this health issue and health concern. So it is a SWA show at 244 Livestock Road, East Denali, Georgia. But it'll be most of the stars, not all the stars, but it will not be the regular SWA storylines. This is strictly a benefit show. But if you'd like to come on out, still doors open at 6. Bell time is 7. and you'll still see the majority of the SWA wrestlers, just not the regular SWA storylines. But thanks for watching and thanks for commenting. Straight Up Wrestling Show. And at the first show I have Saturday at 1 o'clock, Saturday afternoon, we'll see Justin Sane, Jerry Nelms, Chris Nelms, Chris Del Rey, Jamie Holmes, Dynamic Dexter, Eli Smiles, Nikki Hyde, and more. That's at 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon in Commerce, Georgia. We have a show Saturday night. Oh, that's fine. That's cool. But the Commanders won 21-18, and the 21 was 7 field goals. And I think the Commanders are on pace for their kicker to have about 70 field goals this year, but I'm sure he'll settle down. But the Giants had 18. They had 3 touchdowns, but their starting kicker, Graham Gano, is hurt, so they went to a backup kicker. He kicked 1 extra point, and he missed it. So after that, on their other 2 touchdowns, they didn't even try. So the Commanders had 21, no touchdowns, 7 field goals. The Giants had 18, 3 touchdowns, no extra points. So a very weird 21-18 score in the Commanders and Giants game. The Chargers beat the Panthers 26-3. And in case you have not heard, the Panthers earlier today announced they are benching Bryce Young. And I have said from day one that I've never thought Bryce Young would make it. He's too small. He can't weigh but $180 soaking wet. I don't care what he's listed as. He's $180 soaking wet. And that's because how tall he is. He's a beanpole. And if he plays long term, he's going to get killed by somebody. But the Panthers are trying to make it look like they're trying to make changes by benching their first overall draft pick. But Bryce Young is not the issue. He has not been great, but they suck all around. Their offense sucks. Their defense sucks. Their special team sucks. So benching Bryce Young might light a fire under the team, but that's all it's going to do. The Saints beat the Cowboys 44-19, and I believe the Saints actually scored on their first, I think, 15 possessions they had this year. And the Cowboys do what they always do. They look really good one week and really bad the next week. The Packers beat the Colts 16-10 without Jordan Love. Malik Willis got the start, and I think he only threw 14 passes, but the Packers played to their strength. Their strength was the running game. They ran the ball. I think Jacobs had 32 carries, which you don't ever see much anymore. So they win an ugly game, but hey, it's a win for the Packers. The Browns beat the Jaguars 18-13, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if this is the last year you see Doug Peterson be their head coach, because somebody has to take the fall, and we know it ain't going to be the players. But, you know, the Jaguars started out really good last year. It looked like they might be the number 1 seed in the AFC, and then they just fell apart. And I think they've lost their last 6 games, or maybe even 7 games now, dating back to last season. And Trevor Lawrence looked absolutely horrendous on Sunday. And they've got this promotion going where their field Sunday, instead of Everbank Field, was Trevor Bank Field. You can't have your name on the stadium and play that bad, but he did. He was awful. I think he had 17 yards passing in the first half. That's terrible. The Jets beat the Titans 24-17, so Aaron Rodgers gets his first win with the Jets. The Bucks beat the Lions 20-16. The Ravens are 0-2. They lose to the Raiders 26-23. The Cardinals, in a surprise, they dominate the Rams. They win the game 41-10. The Chiefs beat the Bengals on a last-second field goal, 26-25. The Steelers are 2-0, but they've only scored 1 touchdown in 2 games. They defeat the Broncos 13-6. And watching Justin Fields play, now you realize why the Bears didn't want him and nobody else in football wanted him. The Steelers were the only team that said, hey, we'll give the man a shot. We'll sign him. And of course, he only got a 1 year deal. He was going to be the backup until Russell Wilson got hurt. But Justin Fields looks average. I mean, that's what he is. He's an average quarterback. And this day and time, average doesn't win. But luckily for him, I think Russell Wilson is back before long. But the Broncos are awful. And of course, against the Falcons, you had 6 field goals. But if you want to know why nobody wanted Justin Fields, watch him play. It's easy to see. The Texans beat the Bears on Sunday Night Football 19-13. And between C.J. Stroud and their head coach, I think the Texans have a very bright future. And on Monday Night Football, the Falcons come from behind late to beat the Eagles 22-21. The Eagles gave away some points early in the game. I think it was first quarter. They had a 4th and 4 from the Falcons' 8. That's an easy chip shot field goal, and they decided to go for it. Then another time they had the ball 4th down around the Falcons' 35, and they decided to go for it. But the Eagles took the lead late in the game. They went up 21-15, and the Falcons got the ball back with, I think, 1:48 to go with no timeouts. And we know Kirk Cousins has a history of struggling in primetime games, and he took the Falcons right down the field, and they scored, I believe, in 6 plays, and even left the Eagles time to get the ball back. And then Jalen Hurts threw the interception, so the Eagles let one slip away. The Falcons are back to 500, which is a good thing because this Sunday they play the Chiefs. And if you're the Falcons, you don't want to start 0-3, and your chances of beating the Chiefs are slim to none. But that is the weekend wrap-up for the NFL. And quickly, I wanted to mention the whole Mark Stoops thing because Sunday, or Saturday, I should say, in that game, neither team could move the ball. And late in the game, Kentucky had a 4th and 8, and they punted. And a lot of people are saying it was stupid. But to me, it was the right decision because a coach's job is to keep his team in the game for as long as possible. Kentucky couldn't convert on 3rd and 8. So why in the world would you think you're going to convert on 4th and 8? Plus, their passing game is non-existent. They can't throw the ball at all. They might as well put a running back there and just run wing T, run the option because they can't throw the ball. So it's 4th and 8, and you automatically know if you throw the ball, it's incomplete. So you can't throw the ball. And you'd be the laughing stock of college football if you line up 4th and 8 and run the ball. But for Kentucky, that would be your best choice because they can't throw. But if you go for it right there close to midfield, 4th and 8, and you don't get it, that's the game right there. So I think the best thing to do is to punt it and trust your defense because your defense had been playing great all night long. Now, it may have backfired. That may have been the game. But just because a decision doesn't work doesn't mean it's the wrong decision. If I was Mark Stoops, I'd have done the same thing because you can't throw the ball. And you look stupid to line up 4th and 8 and run the football. So if I was Mark Stoops in that situation, I'd have done the same thing. So I know he's taking a lot of slack for it, but to me, at that time, that was the right decision. Now, had the score been different, and it's Georgia 45, Kentucky 44, because neither team's playing defense, then yeah, you go for it. But in this game, when neither team is moving the ball, and Kentucky can't throw the ball at all, and it's 4th and 8 from about midfield, you punt the ball. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I hate cleaning my windows. It's a pain in the glass. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.